I was born in a little town called Boonville, Missouri, and most people don't know of it unless you're a criminal because they had a reform school there. And I'm the youngest of 7 children, and my dad got killed when I was 4, and my mom raised all of us. Not one person in the family went to college. We all wanted to, but we just didn't have the money. And so we all went out at a very early age and went to work. I was telling Dave I had 26 jobs before I was 16 years old. And I never got fired. I always got to a better job. And one I like to particularly tell about, I was a butcher, I was a pig farmer, I made cottage cheese, I made ice cream, I was a junk collector, I sold metal before it was even popular. I was a lifeguard in the swimming pool, skate jack, I said pins at a bowling alley. But one story I like to tell, I was coming home from school and it was snowing. And on my way home, walking back to home, there was an old man, older than me now, and I'll be 79 in July. And he was stacking this 1.5 cords of wood, and it's a big pile of wood. And so I said, "Can I do that for you?" And he said, "Well, how much do you charge?" And I said, "Anything you give me, I'll accept." And he said, "Well, have at it." And so I spent 3 hours out there. And I stacked it all. I put the big wood on here, and then the smaller wood, and then the kindling on top. So you just take one whole thing and start a fire. And so I got finished, and I called him out, and I said, "Check the job out." He says, "It looks fantastic." He says, "How much you want?" I says, "Anything you'll give me is fine." So he gave me a nickel, and a nickel was pretty good in that day. But you know, I could buy a big hamburger for a nickel in those days. But I was kind of disappointed. I said, "Thank you," and I walked away. And I got down the stairs a little way, and he says, "Son, come back up here." And he says, "Are you happy with what I gave you?" And I said, "I'm never going to work for you again." And he says, "Well, here's $5. Now, $5 was a lot of money in 1932, 1936 or 37, something like that. And so if I saved $25 in the summertime, my mom doubled that. She put 25 more in my bank account. So I was really, and so I worked for those people until I left Missouri. I really hated to leave Missouri because I had such a good deal.